Hey, what it is, folks? Y'all know what time it is. And if you don't know what time it is, by the end of the show, you will know what time it is. We clutched up, we clutched out. You know exactly what we're here to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm Coach B, aka Bro on the Hustle. You know what I'm gonna tell y'all. God wake you up, put breath in your body, everything else is extra. Take care of you, take care of the fam. And let's go ahead and introduce the other host. My main man, Boss Hog, Boss Dog, K-Po through the dove. Hey, go ahead and let them know how you flow. After that, continue the show. Let's go.
Hey man, y'all know the motto. Remember, tough times don't last. Good people do. Don't off yourself. Call that mental health hotline. I mean that. All y'all brothers trying to be strong out there, man. Talk to somebody for real, man. As men, we not taught to, express our feelings. Man, go talk to somebody, man. You ain't got to be talking to a stranger, on the street, but go talk to somebody. Psychiatrist, whoever. Make sure your mental right out here, man. But I pray for everybody, and that's what it is. But we're gonna segue off into our topics at hand. We got Roelly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. That's happening May 2nd, I believe. And they're supposed to be fighting now for a regular belt in the WBA sanctioning body at 147 pounds. Now, the winner will be a regular champion at 147 pounds, which in the future can basically get them a jam boost in this fight. So, Coach B, question to you is this. How do you feel about them fighting for this belt that just mysteriously came out of nowhere? And do you feel like any of these guys can compete with Jambu Sinis? And do you feel like this is good for the welterweight division? Let me know something.
I'll be honest. This is crazy to even be saying that Roelly or Ryan Garcia is fighting for any type of belt right now at this point in their careers. And like I say, I have nothing personally against these two people or fighters, but at the same time, it's crazy. They just right place, right time type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Boots moves into moves up into a situation to where he becomes the super champion of the division, as they would call it. And he, that leaves a few belts available for those who's in line, and just so happen, like I say, right place, right time for Roelly and Ryan Garcia. They're clashing on May 2nd. I think this will be a decent fight, but at the same time, to answer your question directly, will they pose a threat to Boots if they do become his mandatory? Neither one of them. That's a walk in the park for Boots, so I'm gonna answer that directly. Both of those fighters are a walk in the park for Boots. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him struggling with a Ryan or a Roelly. Now, is this good for the division? I stand neutral on that. I don't think it's good and or bad for the division. It's just making sure somebody, has the belt at hand, and the belt is not vacant for anybody to just walk in and take it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, does it help or hurt the division? No, not at all. But it's nice to see, somebody, a couple guys with names who don't mind getting in there and tussling with the best of the best, have a belt at their hands and they can put it on the line whenever possible. Now, if you want to speak about this Ryan and Roelly fight real quick, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out type of situation. Neither one of these guys are prideful or built upon defense. We all know that both of their defenses paralysis is suspect. So I look for this to be a left hook dominant fight. Whoever lands the best, most flush, most timely, most accurate left hook, I feel like they'll get the knockout. But me personally, I'm a roll with Ryan in this fight. I just think Ryan is just a tad bit better fighter than Roelly. He has a little bit more in his arsenal than Roelly, but Roelly can pose a threat. He does have power. He does seem to, have his times in fights where he's clicking and he's actually landing his punches. But if I had to choose, I would pick Ryan in this fight, and I say Ryan would get the knockout in probably in between rounds 7 and 10.
Okay. My bad, y'all. We shooting this podcast. I'm kind of multitasking right now. But Ryan Garcia, and Roelly winning for this, fighting for this belt. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a way for them to set up Ryan versus Boots. Um, I think that's probably why they're putting a belt on and they made this belt is because of the fact that they're trying to make up that big money fight between Ryan versus Boots. And truthfully, does this put make the welterweight division better? I'm gonna agree with you, Coach B. I don't think it's good or bad, but I think what they're trying to do is set up that big fight, and that's Ryan versus Jambu Sinis. It'll put a lot of money in Jambu's in his pocket if he does get a Ryan fight, because Ryan Garcia is coming with a different type of fan. He's coming with the casual fan. He's coming with the Disney Channel fans. So it'll be able to get those type of fans to take a look at Jambu Sinis. And it'll give Jambu Sinis an opportunity to really line his pockets and put himself in position to be a cash cow in and around his weight class. So I do agree with you that Boots will beat the brakes off of Ryan Garcia and Roelly. Let me say that again for the slow people in the back. Jaron Boots Ennis will beat the brakes off Ryan Garcia and Roelly, especially Roelly. That's easy work. I'm sorry, I don't mean to disrespect Roelly. He's strong. He retarded strong. Okay, he like that. God forgive me. He like that retarded kid that in the slow class that they got different build than everybody else, and they get dropped off on the short bus in a different part of the school. But he's strong in the mug when he hit you. That's Roelly, right? And no offense to Roelly, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't wrapped too tight. But he's strong in the mug. If he hit you, if he land on you, you going to sleep.
Right.
So, but I just see Boots being too slick, too smooth, too powerful. I mean, it'll be a massacre, man. I know Ryan Garcia is calling out Jambu Sinis, but I'm telling you, I had to laugh. I'm sorry. He will body bag and let me say this again. Okay, I'm sorry. I got to repeat myself. He will body bag and toe tag Ryan Garcia and Roelly. But I like the fight for Jambu Sinis if he get it. Now, Jambu Sinis got to take care of business. He got to fight Giasov first. Giasov is 17-0. I believe he got 13 KOs. He's a silver medalist. I forgot what country he's from. And them European fighters are very tricky. So he got to take care of that. But, truthfully, if Ryan gets this belt, it might mess up the Devin Haney fight. Because now Ryan be a champion at 147. Devin is fighting Jose Ramirez at a catchweight. It might mess up that. You know what I mean? Now, Bill Haney, earlier this year said he wanted to see Devin Haney versus Boots. How you feel about that, Coach?
Devin Haney versus Boots? Oh, no. Please, no. No. I'm gonna be direct right here. Devin Haney don't need to be in the ring with the Boots. He don't need to be in the ring with the Boots. Yes, Devin is skillful. He's a masterclass boxer. He's good at what he does, and he's a boxer. He's good at that. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but he has nothing available in his arsenal to pose a threat to Boots. Now, if Boots want to, he can get in there with a Devin Haney, and I feel like he can kind of just do what he been doing. I believe respectfully, I believe Boots will do what he did to Stanionis to Devin Haney. With all due respect, and there's nothing taken away from Devin Haney. I think Boots is just on another level. He just hasn't had the opportunity to put the names together on his resume. But he started with Stanionis. If we talk about Ryan, if we talking about Devin, we talking about Roelly, anybody that is in that segment right there, Boots is like Capo said, he gonna body bag and toe tag. He gonna body bag BBT, body bag and toe tag. BBTT, body bag and toe tag. Period. Devin, Roelly, Ryan, Boots is on a different level. I see him as the guy in that division, and I don't see too many people messing with Boots, and definitely not a Devin Haney. But like I say, Boots just need the names to go ahead and solidify himself, and that's all he's missing. He has the skill, he has the IQ, he has the speed, he has the power, he has the footwork, he has the defense, he has everything in his arsenal and at his dispense to dispose of a lot of these fighters that we can put in the ring with Boots. He just needs the opportunity to continue proving himself. And like I said, his first stepping stone, which was a great stepping stone, was Imantes Stanionis. But again, if we put him in there with Devin Haney, he gonna body bag and toe tag that boy. Period.
Enough said. Bill Haney, I'm sorry. You come over here, you gonna be upset. I mean, that's all I gotta say. If you come over here trying to defend your son against Boots, there's nothing. There's nothing your son can do to keep that man from Philadelphia off of you. I'm telling you. But let's segue off into the next topic, man. I'm sorry. Shakur Stevenson.
Oh man.
Oh my God. This man sticks his foot in his mouth every time. And to y'all youngsters, please, before I ask the questions to coach, please make sure you analyze and think before you speak. That's all I gotta say. Okay. Now, as it pertains to Shakur Stevenson, he recently, I say last week and a half, almost 2 weeks, he came out and he basically said that Turkey, you sending these dudes in them sheets to talk to me, you need to basically pay me what we talked about. You can't go back on your word, Then, the other day we heard that he might be leaving Eddie Hearn, and signing with Lou DiBella. It's just a lot going on with Shakur Stevenson. And so, before we get into everything, Coach, how do you feel about Shakur Stevenson's antics these last couple of weeks? He's talked about basically coming at Turkey in the way he coming at him, and then he come back and apologize and say he's sorry, right? So all these answers that Shakur has brought on himself, let me know if you were his coach or his representation, what would you tell him?
Let's bring this situation full circle. I'm gonna be skipping around a little bit. Okay, it was a couple podcasts ago where I gave him props. I gave Shakur props because we all know that Terrence Crawford and Canelo supposed to be clashing soon, and he asked, Terrence Crawford asked Shakur, how would you feel about being the co-main event with Tank Davis underneath me and Canelo's fight? And I gave Shakur props for his reply. He said, "Nah, big bro, I think me and Tank, period, will be a main event ourselves." So I gave him his props. I thought he matured. I thought he was ready. But then you backdoor. You say what you say to Turkey about Turkey, but then you backdoor and apologize. So you leaving me in a state of confusion, Shakur. Just like K-Post said in the beginning, you young men out here need to think thoroughly. Not just think 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then speak. Y'all need to start thinking thoroughly before y'all speak, especially before you speak publicly. Because now, again, like K-Po said, you putting your foot in your mouth. You just said what you said about Turkey. You said what you said to Terrence Crawford. Now you backdoor and apologizing to Turkey. Then not on top of that, you leaving Eddie Hearn to go take a lesser, chunk of money from a guy. I felt like you kind of could have just stayed put and made a bigger amount of money in the fight that Eddie Hearn could have put together with you. But like Capo said, he all over the place. He got me confused. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, just think thoroughly before you get out here and speak. On a public platform. Just think before you speak, because you got people out here who actually analyze and listen to what you say. And me and K-Po, for one, we actually follow the sport of boxing. We don't just look at what goes on in the ring. We follow from the time you say you're ready to fight so-and-so from the time you speak on Turkey Al Sheik, from the time you get ready to go into your, we follow all of that. We firing on all cylinders, and we try to make sure everything is lined up before we get on here and speak on our podcast. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Shakur is one of those individuals who I feel like he has two places left to go in his career. And it's either solidify the resume and a legacy or solidify the bag. And right now, the way Shakur is moving, it seems like he's kind of just saying, okay, forget the resume. I'm not going to be able to get the names. I'm running out of time. So I'm going to just chase the bag. But by you chasing the bag, you're kind of pushing the bag away. Because if you were going to get the bag, your biggest opportunity to get to the bag would have been with Turkey Al Sheik. But you denied that by saying what you said a couple weeks ago. But then you backdoor and you apologize. So I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to pull off or build. But in my opinion, Shakur is kind of just, he's kind of trying to go for the bag. But in a sense, he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know which pathway to pick. So he's kind of all over the place. He's leaving Eddie Hearn. He's going into an independent status, in my opinion, which I think is best for Shakur right now for his career. He needs to go into a 100% independent status. That way you're not signed to anybody. You cannot put the blame on anybody and say, oh, this promotional company couldn't give me this fight. This promotional company couldn't give me this fight. Let's say Top Rank come and pose a fight for you and you independent. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. Let me take these 2 fights from y'all. And then after that, I'm done. I'm going to run over here and try to hop in with the zone and see what they can get me. You know, so I feel like Shakur is trying to make that happen for himself, but he just doesn't know how to stay out of the eye of the public by not speaking so much. Like I said a long time ago, it's all type of boogeymans in the sport of boxing. Sometimes it's okay to be the silent boogeyman. Sometimes the silent boogeyman is more feared than the talkative boogeyman. And I feel like Shakur would be more respected if he didn't talk so much. And then let me throw this in there too. The fans have set the bar and the standard so high for Shakur. I don't even think Shakur himself can reach the bar that the fans have put up for him. Because number one, like I said, he's running out of time. The opponents he wants to face are consistently taking fights with other fighters. He's not getting the viewership. He's not getting the proper, fan base. He's not even delivering in the fights when he's in there. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, physically, his physical condition. I don't know how well his hands are to be in there trying to fight some of the guys he need to be fighting to solidify his resume. So there's a lot of stuff that's going into the negative for Shakur versus going into the positive. So it's a lot of stuff, again, that Shakur needs to kind of corral, gain control of, and not be so much into the eye of the public. Forget what the public's saying. It's cool. You said it before. F the fans, right? He been said that before. So let's go ahead and get all the way into that mode. Say F the fans. Go incognito. Stay off Twitter. Stay out the eye of the public. Stop doing interviews and just show up and fight. Now I'm at the point where I'm not even asking Shakur to knock nobody out no more. He was recently on another interview saying people don't give me credit for what I actually do, and he's had the nerve to say, "Hey, I be in the pocket." What? What pocket? You don't be in your pockets, and you damn sure don't be in no pocket fighting in the ring. Because what pockets do you have to dig in? You ain't made too much of nothing in the sport of boxing. You made a little bread. I give you. You made some type of bread, but you ain't made nothing for you to be sitting here talking as if you're some big main attraction. And we're going to get into the next topic when we talk about the fight card we got to talk about that's coming up here soon. But anyways, that'll tie into my next, topic that I wanted to bring up. But I'll hold that and wait until we run off into the next topic. But at the same time, Shakur, just like K-Po said, sometimes just stop, think, hold your breath before you speak, because you putting your own foot in your mouth. Pause, no freak is in full effect. I should have been said that. But anyways, like I said, just be calm. Be the silent boogeyman. And when somebody come across your radar and they're ready to fight, be ready to fight. And dispose of them how you need to dispose of them. Like I said, I ain't asking you to knock nobody out no more, because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think your hands are in that type of condition. Either your hands have went brittle or they've been brittle. I don't see you knocking nobody out. So I expect you to get in there and give us that masterclass performance, but you still got to find some way to let them hands go and do what you got to do so you can either get to the bag like I feel like you're doing or solidify your resume. And I'm done with that.
I agree with everything you said. Shakur, all I gotta say is stop talking. You when you talk a lot, you have to live up to what you're saying. And when you don't live up to what you're saying, that leaves room for critique. It leaves room for you to be criticized. So you can't be talking like you some knockout puncher or like you gonna dog somebody out and then you get in the ring and you end up running around like you're on a fifth wheel trail ride. It's not happening, bro. You're gonna get criticized. You know what I mean? And we're not sitting here saying that, you know, you suck or you're a horrible fighter. We all see the skill. But now it's time for you to put that skill up against top talent. So hopefully he can do that. But we're gonna segue off to the next topic. We got a fight card. It's in New York City. It's July 12th. And on this fight card is Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. And this is going to be Riyadh season, I believe, 4. Shakur Stevenson versus Williams Zepeda for the WBC lightweight title. Alberto Breo versus Subriel Matias. Orale, way. He's putting his WBC championship bet at 140 on the line. David Morrell versus Imam Katayev. Hope I said that right. They'll be fighting at light heavyweight. Now, there's been some backlash because people have been saying, man, why is Shakur on the undercard? Right? Why is Shakur the co-main event? So what Turki Al-Sheikh did was he said, okay, leading up to the fight, we're going to make Shakur think that he's the main event. So we're going to let him walk out last for the press conference and everything. But on fight night, he's going to fight as the co-main. Don't make sense to me. Don't understand that. But whatever. That seemed like some everybody get a trophy type stuff. I don't get it. But, Coach, what you think about this fight card? And just kind of do a quick take on each fight. You know, who you got winning. A matter of fact, just talk about the card. And then once we done with the card, we'll segue off into our quick takes. Let's know something.
Real quick. I think this is a fire card in my opinion. And I think it makes sense. A lot of people are going into this phase and this long drug out situation where they think Shakur should be the main event. Okay, cool. When y'all can get back to me and let me know why exactly Shakur should be the headline of this fight, cool. Let me know something. And if you come up with some legit stuff to say to me, then I might consider it. But until then, no, Shakur should not be the main event. Sometimes Shakur's card, when he is the main event, I don't think he should be the main event on his own card. But at the same time, here's why I say he shouldn't be the main event on his card. Because why? Shakur doesn't have a solidified name on his resume, period. Shakur hasn't had a solidified win in his last few fights. And when we talk about the word few, for my mathematicians out there, few means 5 or more. 5 or more. 5 or more. He hasn't delivered to us in his last few fights. So why would I consider him being the main event? Edgar Berlanga, yeah, that's a questionable situation too, but Edgar Berlanga has something to build off of. He's been in the ring with Canelo. He didn't get knocked out. He made it through 12 rounds, through the fire, and he survived the Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he did get knocked down, but now he has the name to build off of. So yes, Edgar Berlanga and how you say it, Hamza Shiraz should be the main event. Now with those two, you know what I'm saying, being the main event, okay, cool, we might get some fireworks, it is what it is, whatever. But at the same time, I like this card, all the fights that are put together on it. I like it. I like the setup because Shakur is cool. It's cool with being the co-main event. That's where he should be. You shouldn't be headlining this fight. And I think it's another fight on this card that should be the main event anyway. And I think it's Puello and Subriel Matias, if I'm being honest. I think that should be the main event of this card. And Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz should be the co-main event. And Shakur can be anywhere on this card. But that's in my opinion. If I was promoted, that's how I would do it. But at the same time, I'm also cool with Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz being the main event because why? Again, Berlanga has something to build off of. He has something to stand on. Shakur has nothing to stand on. So yes, you should be good with being the co-main event. But that's all I got to say about that, K-Paul.
Um, I like the fight card on paper. It looks like it's gonna be fire. You know, now the Zone or Riyadh Season and Turk have put on some fight cards that had names on them, and a lot of the fights didn't live up to the hype.
Flopping.
Right? Um, I'm talking about Bet That BFB Vault. You know what I mean? That fight card that y'all said that was the greatest fight card in boxing history. That fight card right there, morale was kind of mediocre in my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just me. So on paper, this fight card looks legit. I agree. I will put Puello and versus Matias as the main event. The co-main event, I'll put Morel versus Kateev. I think that's a very intriguing fight. I think Kateev is very tricky. He's gonna pose some issues for David Morrell. I think David Morrell is a star. You know what I mean? He really gained a lot more fans, especially in the Dave Benavidez fight when he went toe to toe Dave Benavidez and dropped. Let me say that again. He dropped David Benavidez. Now, though, you know, David Benavidez tripped, but hey, he dropped him. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. It counted as a drop, so he dropped him. And I will put, you know, Shakur Stevenson after Morel Kateev, and then Berlanga versus. Let me tell you something. Shiraz fought at 160. He just fought Carlos Adams at 160, and he fought to a draw. Mm-hmm. Why is he going up to 168 to fight Edgar Berlanga when he didn't beat Carlos Alves? Right? And that's the fight that Turkey went to that boy and was like, hey, my brother, you are losing. You need to knock out. Pick it up, my brother. And that boy fought to a draw, mysteriously. So all I'm saying, Edgar Berlanga better be careful because he on upset alert. You know, Turkey may snap his fingers, and if Edgar Berlanga punches boy too hard, snap his fingers, and Edgar Berlanga start losing points. You know what I mean? So he needs to be careful. But that's the order I would have. On paper, this is a fire card on paper. We'll see if it lives up to the hype. Now, Coach, quick takes. All right. This is the clutched up quick take section where I call out a fight and Coach basically picks his winner and why. All right. So we're going to start from the bottom. Dave Morrell versus Imam Kutayev. Who do you got and why?
I got Morrell. Just like you said, he got star power. He gained a lot of respect from me in his last fight against David Benavidez. He showed he has skill, he has heart, he has power, he has IQ, he has footwork. He knows what he's doing, and he's starting to put it together. So in this one, I got David Morrell.
Already, I agree with you. I got Morrell by stoppage. Alberto Puello versus Super Matias. Who you got and why?
This is a tricky fight, in my opinion. I like everything Subriel Matias can bring to the table in the fight. He's a come forward. He's a volume power puncher, and he doesn't let up. I like the dog in him, but I also respect the fact that Puello has skill. I like Puello's skill over Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias' fighting style in the come forward. I think Puello is going to find a way to, somehow outbox Subriel Matias. Now, do I see a knockdown in this fight? Yes, I possibly see Puello get knocked down in this fight, but I think overall in the end, I think Puello will make it to the end, 12 rounds, and I got Puello on the split decision.
Man, this is gonna be a close fight. This is why I say this should be the main event. I'm gonna go Super Matias. I think Super Matias is gonna break him down and be able to stop him late. So I got Super Matias by stoppage late round. Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Who you got and why?
This is very tricky. This is very, very tricky. A lot tells me I should be rolling with William Zepeda simply because I think Shakur is in a state of confusion, in my opinion. Shakur, and also Shakur's physical condition. Like I say, his hands. I shout out to Showbiz. He brought this point up not too long ago. Shakur hurt his hand in his last fight against the electrician. Tevin Farmer hurt his hand against William Zepeda because of the style and the defensive high guard that William Zepeda continues to come forward in. Farmer was throwing a punch, caught Zepeda on the elbow, hurt his hand. Shakur's hands is already hurt. Now, for Shakur to survive this fight, he's gonna have to find a way to break down that high guard and kind of hit Williams Zepeda in awkward places. And for you to hit somebody in awkward places, you got to be kind of going hit towards the elbows, the upper shoulders, and stuff like that. And those are solid points to be hitting. And with Shakur's hands being fragile, I don't know. He might receive a little damage in his fight, but a lot tells me I should be rocking with Williams Zepeda. But I think Shakur will figure it out. He'll master that distance. He'll give us a master class in this fight, and he'll find a way to outbox Williams Zepeda, and he'll make it to the end. And I think he should get a unanimous decision. Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, I agree. My heart is with Shakur Stevenson, but my mind is Williams Zepeda. But I'm gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna say Shakur Stevenson will win by unanimous decision. Next fight, Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Who you got to watch?
This fight, again, another tricky fight to kind of put together and bring it to full circle and bring out a true perspective in it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm picking Edgar Berlanga. I'm gonna pick Berlanga because I feel like Berlanga, again, he has something to build off of. We'll see if he actually learned from his last fight being in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. And also, I don't think Edgar Berlanga looked too bad against Canelo Alvarez. Now where Hamza Shiraz, I know he has power. He's known for sitting in the pocket, but I think, again, he's another one of those tall, lanky fighters who doesn't understand how to use his ability when it comes to his length. As long as you are, there's no reason you should be fighting more than half of the fight in the pocket. He sits in the pocket too long for me, and I think that's just a recipe for disaster. I think Berlanga takes advantage of that. He clips him with 2 good shots. He puts him down in round 9. I got Edgar Berlanga with a knockout round 9.
Yeah, I think Edgar Berlanga, although he looked a little shaky in his last fight, I forgot who he fought. He fought some dude that was in jail for 10 years and got out and came and fought Edgar Berlanga. And Edgar Berlanga was on an undercard. How do you go from fighting Canelo to being on an undercard on Pro Box TV? Let make that make sense. But I digress. I'm sorry. Right. I got Edgar Berlanga by knockout. I just think, yeah, he's bringing up a smaller man. Although Hamza Shiraz is a tall guy, he's still the smaller man. Edgar Berlanga ain't no little dude mass-wise, and he got power. Somebody going to sleep, and it's going to be Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz going to go see Allah. He going to go see Allah Akbar. That's what he going to go see.
Oh,
my bad, dog. But, Coach, you got anything else you want to say?
No, not at all. But with that being said, hey, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all our subscribers, all our followers, all our commenters, all our likers, all our viewers, because it's not every day where you can wake up and say, shout out to fans around the world. And when I say around the world, I mean around the world. We have touched, people from across the globe. We got people here locally in the US of A. We got people from UK. We got people in Russia. We got people in Australia. And it's just mad love. It's mad respect. They come on here. They like, they subscribe, they share, they comment, and they starting to put positive criticism within the comment section. And I respect all of that. So again, shout out to everybody that has been aboard the train, and shout out to everybody who will jump on the train. And with that being said, you have spent the last 30 minutes with your 2 favorite hosts that'll never leave you in the dark about any post when it comes to this boxing scene. If we put our hands on it, best believe, like Capo said, we're going to body bag and toe tag it, and it's going to be from our perspective, and we're going to give you a wholehearted, 100% truthful factinated opinion. So again, shout out to everybody. Much love to everybody around the world. Continue to follow, continue to subscribe, continue to share, continue to view, comment, whatever you want to do with it. As long as you're being respectful and you got some positive criticism, me and Capo have no problem with that. Now, if you get out of line, you might get in trouble. It don't matter which one of us reply, we're gonna reply. You might not like it. And then again, if you say the right thing, we might try to bring you on the show and let you speak your mind and see if we can debate about it. But at the same time, it is what it is. Much love, much respect. Do what you got to do. Take care of you. Take care of the fam. And we have reached the end of the podcast. So salute. Shout out to everybody around the world.
Like he said, man, we clutched up. You know what we're talking about. I'm Boss. That's Brody. We out of here.
Salute.